One. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Minds podcast powered by BeInfinite.co. And today we have a special show where we're going to be more focused on helping you guys get a LLC and why you need to have an LLC. We have a LLC, I like to call him expert with me today, Mr. Gerared Charles. He has spent the last 25 years in 3 different industries in which he has achieved tremendous success. I mean, we have a real treat, a lot of wisdom packed into this show. Currently, Mr. Charles is the Senior Director of Business Development for Job Services, Inc. The company does account receivable funding. I mean, he's spent the last eight years with Star Furniture as a senior sales associate. He was also in 8 years with Steak and Ale Restaurant in general management position. This guy has so much experience in management and helping you form a successful business and what it takes to be a successful business. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Charles. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much, Mrs. Sharp, for having me today.
Of course, man. I wanted to have somebody on here. Oh, and tell a little bit about why you're qualified to even talk about helping people form an LLC. Where does that experience come in as well?
I guess, Mr. Shaw, the last 25 years, been an entrepreneur, been able to advise business owner how to diversify the business. I've been a business owner and also been in management and actually knowing kind of how business run. But I do want to just kind of a disclaimer. I am not an attorney. Just want to make sure I kind of throw it out there. I don't want nobody to come back and sue me. No, I'm just kidding. But having said that, not an attorney. So I just want to kind of throw out there as we get started today.
Okay, no, that's cool. And let me throw that out there too. I'm not an attorney, but because we are telling you to do take a legal action for your business, but we are both qualified to advise from real world experience. Would you try to say, in real world experience, good experience
Absolutely.
and bad experience. So we're on this podcast. All we're trying to do is educate, entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, help you guys get a little bit closer to reaching that vision, reaching that goal. And without further ado, let's get started. Let's go through the top 10 good reasons to form an LLC. Why don't we start with what is an LLC? Mr. Charles, what is an LLC?
The simple, term for an LLC is a limited liability company. That's all that means. You're setting this up to be able to protect yourself and protect your business. Simple as that.
Yes. Yeah, and I want to go ahead and add, I was talking to a client just earlier today who hadn't had a LLC set up and they have been already making sales. And I was just telling them that, when you set up your LLC, it becomes its own entity. So if somebody tries to sue you, they're actually going to sue that entity and won't be in possession of anything of your personal assets. And it's really this umbrella, this safety net that you should implement in your business. And it's really affordable to the amount of protection that it actually provides, right? The how much it costs versus the amount of protection it provides is beyond affordable, especially even in our great state of Texas, which I think we're the most expensive state in the country that has the LLC at $300, correct? Around something like that for your state fees. And I think North Carolina is like free. They're like basically want everybody to go there and start a business. So I think theirs is free. North Carolina or Virginia, one of those, I forgot. But yeah, so LLCs provide tremendous values. And we just wanted to do a quick overview of the top good reasons to have one. And number one, to customize your business. LLCs are great for small business because they allow adaptability in a lot of different situations, no matter whether you have 100 silent investors or a two-person company, small business operation. The LLC is really flexible, and you can pretty much write the operating agreement and suit your needs. You can make your own rules and tailor your entity to suit the functions of your business. So the flexibility, would you agree with that? The customability of a small business?
Absolutely, Mrs. Shaw. And again, I like the fact that you go into a top 10 reason to have an LLC because guess what? There's a top 10 for everything, and
Yes.
so be able to customize your business, set up the structure. And a lot of time, everybody dream is to kind of have their own business, become an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Like you said, it's so important to start that process correctly. That's why it's so
Yes.
important. You don't want to wait till you have a ton of success in the business. Starting that structure in the beginning is so important. It's going to allow you to be able to grow your operation and thrive as an entrepreneur or business
And
owner.
I like how you added that in there. Starting off the right way. A lot of people are don't realize how important it is to start off something the right way. It keeps your momentum going in the right direction from day one, so you don't have to go back and do things that you should have done in the beginning. So I like how you put that in there. And with my company, that's what we're all about. BFN is all about helping you build a solid foundation for your business. Another
And
reason,
Mr.
and
Show,
huh?
I
Excuse
was
me.
going to add one thing here. I was going to add one more thing to the topic before we move ahead. If
Okay.
everybody start a business for one day, somebody will show up and say, "Hey, I want to buy your business."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what an investor buys, not necessarily you, they buy the structure you have put in place. So from day
Yes.
one, like you says, if you have an LLC, the business structure correctly, you make that operation more valuable. So I just kind of want to throw that in, sir.
Wow. That I love those little tidbits. And that's why I like having people on here who have real world experience that have actually pulled from their experience, and you're sharing that with everybody who's watching this program. So I appreciate you adding those little tidbits. um,
Absolutely.
Number two, and this is really important for people that are in the real estate. LLC is perfect entity for real estate holdings. You just can't beat it. One advantage is that an LLC has dual liability protection that shields your investments from the lawsuits filed against people like you every day. So if you're rear end someone in a parking lot and he sues you personally, he can seize and liquidate your investment properties to settle the claim if they're not held in your LLC. So it kind of protects you in a dual way where that is confirmed too. Because like we said earlier before we started, a LLC is its own entity, so you can put things up under it so it can actually own and operate things as its own entity, and that kind of helps you, especially when you're in the real estate market as well. I was part of a real estate kind of like conglomerate with a couple of clients one time, a couple of years ago. And that was the first thing we did. We had to build that LLC and make sure everybody put their equal share in there and then what their job was going to be. So we wrote out everything. And it was pretty simple, quick process for what it protects, like I said earlier.
Absolutely. And in real estate, of course, Mrs. Shaw, it can be very complicated. But having an LLC, who's responsible for what, and kind of piggyback on what you said earlier, you could be in a situation like a car accident and you never thought
Yeah.
about it. You have multiple, where you have commercial, you have residential real estate, and all of a sudden you've been sued personally and you're
Yes.
thinking, okay, I think my real estate investment is safe. All of a sudden, the attorney can pull that liquidity out of your real estate. So another
Who
good
wouldn't
reason
pull it?
why. Yes, another good reason why to have the LC in place.
Yeah, pull it. They can pull it out anyway. As attorneys want their money. So um,
Exactly.
another number three is to shield intellectual property. Unless you have a bunch of important patents, placing all your intellectual property in separate LLCs is over. It's an overkill. You don't want your intellectual properties to operate with the public either. So operating under a LLC will actually shield your intellectual properties as well, which is very interesting because a lot of times people don't even think to shield that type of stuff. They just think because I thought about it, it's mine, sort of thing. But you have to put the right structures in place to really protect that, and including that intellectual property. Mr. Charles, it seems like I think you're on mute. Your mic muted, but that's okay. Let's go to number 4. You can raise seed capital for your business. The LLC is quickly becoming an entity of choice for raising seed capital, or what we like to call angel capital from angel investors. Early stage investments under $500,000 or so, whereas venture capital firms generally prefer you to invest in corporations because they're more familiar with them. Smaller investors love limited liability companies. So that's a good reason as well to raise seed capital for your business from angel investors. And I'm
So,
sorry.
Mr. Shaw, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
I said,
now.
can you hear me now, sir?
Yes,
Great, great.
sir.
And one thing I want to add to that, you've dreamt about this great idea, you got everything working, but all you need is money. And all of a sudden, somehow, maybe a friend of yours connect you to some angel investor, people who have money, and you have one chance to do your proposal
Yes.
to get that seed money. You know what these investors looking for? They're looking for structure.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, if you don't have your ducks in a row, if you're not set up an LLC, because they're thinking, how am I going to protect my investment? It's just going to show that investor, hey, you are a serious business person. You have dotted your I and crossed your T. Again, like you said, that's another good reason why having an LLC set up is so important. So I'm just so excited, Mr. Shaw, that you're going through those top 10 reasons. You're right on point, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, moving right along, and that's so good. That I like how you can add those little tidbits, man. That adds so much more to the conversation. Okay, to plan your investment. Number 5 is to plan your investment. Don't overlook the value of the LLC when you plan your investment. Estate. I'm sorry, to plan your estate. Don't overlook the value of the LLC when you plan your estate. Although it's a simple entity in comparison to some of the uber complex, like trust that your attorney may recommend, the LLC provides powerful asset protection. LLC protects you not only from creditors but also from probate lawyers and court costs. LLC is pretty powerful entity in itself, and like we said, with all this power, the investment that it takes to set it up is not that much, and the liability protection that you get from it is amazing as well. So that's one thing that's pretty cool, that planning your estate. Let's see, go.
Hey, Mr. Shaw, I was going to say, I talk to a lot of very successful business owners all day, and I talk to attorneys who are very successful in what they do. And trust me, they continue to advise the client, have an LLC as they, start thinking about estate planning for the business, personal. It just makes so much good sense. So, in estate planning, having LLCs, that really makes life a lot easier for the business owner, not only for his business, but his in personal finance and also.
Okay, cool. That is very good to keep in mind, as far as the LLC can actually go a step further than just your business, right? So, and I tell you the truth, I didn't even know about that before this, so I'm learning as well as we go as well. All right, number 6, to do a short-term project. LLCs were made for short-term projects. When these entities were first introduced, they were never supposed to live forever like corporations do. That's why when you create your articles of incorporation, you state a specific dissolution state or term, the number of years that the LLC is to be in existence. Now, we've kind of molded that and took that to a step further now, because the liability protection is so good that people are using them long terms. But like we said, when it first started, that's kind of how it was intended, but not anymore, huh?
And Mr. Shaw, you talk about that short-term project. That's very important, because you may have your corporation that you already set up, but maybe you're going to partner with an individual to work on a particular deal. But it's nice to be a separate LLC just for that short-term project. It could be maybe a real estate development that you're working on. Again, those are some of the flexibility an LLC give you with short-term projects. So that's truly, truly amazing.
Yeah, that is. All right, we're going on number 8 to segregate assets or separate assets. So assets in your in business is vital. By segregating them, your business assets, individual LLCs, you put them out of the reach of your company's creditors or people who may want to sue you. You know, there goes that sue. Nobody likes to hear that. A lot of people incorrectly think that they're operating as a corporation or an LLC. Then your assets are safe. But that's not necessarily the truth. If you're like most entrepreneurs, your business is your biggest asset. If you lose the ability to operate, you're doomed, right? So the LLC can help you in separating different things. So just in case one of your businesses gets attacked, it doesn't totally sideline you. You know, you're not totally out of the game. You don't have to totally stop and redo everything.
Absolutely. Mr. Shaw, one thing I want to point out too, if you want to realize, yeah, you have your personal business asset, right? And you have bills, but your business also have its own creditors. So
yes.
If you don't have the LLC set up correctly to be able to keep your creditors in place, I mean, financially, you can be ruined very quickly in a situation where you're being sued. So again, just having that LLC in place is so important.
And also, we don't want to just scare you guys into getting LLC. We actually want you to look at these as positive things, because when let's say your business is booming, you're going good, and all of a sudden a disgruntled employee, ex-employee, or somebody tries to come back and they're going to mess up your momentum, the LLC kind of protects that. So you can keep moving on and you won't be totally sidelined, like we said earlier. Number 8, to maximize your tax burden. When you first go into business, chances are your company won't be profitable right away. Building up a business takes time, and in your first year or two, you probably will incur thousands of dollars in losses. A lot of entrepreneurs eager to soften the financial blow of the startup phase decide to form an LLC. With an LLC and its default partnership taxation, the losses of the business flow through to the members so that they can use them as deductions for other income. So think about that. The LLC is even a tax. It can lighten your tax burdens, especially when you're first started. And most of the people that watch our show, that tune in, are small businesses. So this is a great way to maximize the tax burden as well from the get-go.
Absolutely. And again, it's all about, kind of diversify, same way you diversify assets, you want to be able to diversify your tax burden to be able to protect the business. So again, definitely, Mr. Shaw, you are absolutely right on point with that explanation.
Okay, cool. Going right along. Number 9, to change the profit distributions, right? An LLC profits can be paid out disproportionately to the actual ownership's percentage. This is so important, y'all. So you and your partners can set up the company so that you receive all the profits and losses, even if you only own 10% of the company, right? Why would you want to do that? Well, a common reason for changing the distribution to provide an extra incentive for investors. For example, if one investor contributes all the capital, he gets 50% of the company. And however, the profit distributions can be varied so that he receives 100% of the profits until his investment has been paid back. Then the profit distributions return to normal and the profit is split equally among the members. So that's kind of what we're going back through. Our number 1 was that how customizable and how adaptability is played into the LLC as a whole. And you can kind of maneuver it around a lot smoother than if you incorporate S corporation or these other type of legal entities that you have to, go through so much paperwork and all this red tape to change little things. So the LLC it can really move with your company. And I think that was a really great point, because a lot of people out there, they do have partners. Maybe one have put in more money than the other. One has been putting more sweat equity than the other. So you guys kind of build that up, but then you can distribute the profits how you guys see fit. versus too strict of guidelines.
Absolutely. Lots of flexibility.
Yes. And then number 10, to protect your personal assets. This is, I think me and you have mentioned this multiple times, and this was one of the main reasons why I love the LLC too, besides how quick it is to start up and get going. When you spend your entire life saving for retirement, your children's education, or even that second home you dreamed about, nothing is more crippling than losing it all in a lawsuit. If you're like most people, you currently hold all your personal assets in your personal name, your savings account, your cars, and your mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. This LLC can help you protect all those away from the business, especially if I'm going to stress this, especially if you have business partners, because everything may start out great with the business partner, and then life could happen on their end or their end, and it cripples the company. And then let's say somebody comes and try to sue the company because you didn't live up to the expectations that you set, right? You don't want that to affect your personal life. That needs to be something dealing with only the company. So this is so important, especially if you have partners.
Absolutely. And Mr. Shaw, one thing I want to add too, people, for example, they say, hey, I'm just getting started right now, I'm doing this, but don't realize, even if you're just getting started right now, you may not have made that much money yet. Maybe your first 1 or 2 job, you really messed something up in a client. They can sue you. They can go after your personal, asset. That's what people don't realize. You can't tell the attorney, Mr. Attorney, I had just got started 2 weeks ago. I'm not even knee deep as an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I was doing. They're not going to take that for an answer. So protect. And again, I know we talk a lot about LLC today, but I would say definitely, get back with your CPA and get back with your attorney that you have a relationship with. Ask, for example, what best structure for you. But I could tell you, if you don't have anything set up, trust me, they'll be probably talking to you the importance of having a limited liability corporation, maybe doing an LLC or something. The main thing is get something in place to protect yourself.
Well, and guys, we're talking about a LLC a lot, and I know a lot of people may be thinking, how do I go about setting this up? How do I go about getting an LLC to protect my business? Because, man, Mr. Charles, you made great points. Chris, you made good points. But, what is the solution? How can we go one step further? You guys can help us get this done. And that's another reason why I wanted Mr. Charles on here, because he has a solution for you. He has a solution to help you. Why don't you let him know about how, if somebody needs to get an LLC done, how you can make it as simple as simple.
Absolutely, Mr. Shaw. So I'm really excited, Mr. Shaw. So I'm an independent associate for a company called Legal Shield. I'm very fortunate to got started with a company back in 2016. 16 years. Back in 2005, I was working my company as a business consultant. I was introduced to the company, loved the product, and I was able to offer the product to my business client. But the Legal Shield has been around since 1972. And what people don't realize, we have a special division called our Launch by Legal Shield division, where we can help business owners set up the LLC. And our prices is just as reasonable than any other company out in the marketplace. So if you want to learn more about what we do to help entrepreneurs get with the LLC, get back with Mr. Shaw. He'll put you in touch with Mac, and we can show you how to. But all I can tell you, we're gonna save you a lot more money than you would actually pay just going to the traditional route or even doing it yourself. So I've had people say, "Well, I'm gonna try to do it myself." There's certain things I don't do myself. I want to be able to hire an expert. So again, thanks a lot for mentioning that.
Yeah, you definitely need to hire an expert, because one of the reasons too is that you need to stay in your lane. If you're a carpenter, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, things, you don't need to be dealing anything legal wise. You just need to know how it's going to help your business succeed, and then go find an expert who can help you implement it. Otherwise, you're going to get in some muddy waters, and it may not be set up right. You never know. So I highly recommend, contact us. Go to beinfinite.co, contact us. you can contact me at chris@beinfinite.co. You can go to thebusinessminds.com. There's different ways, our Facebook page. Get in contact with us, and we'll definitely more than happily lead you the way. And you're probably going to end up talking to Mr. Charles too. And he's going to walk you through the rest of the way. I mean, we're all about entrepreneurs, helping you set up a solid foundation for your adventure in entrepreneurship. This is an adventure. This is your vision. You want to do it the right way, and do it the right way the first time by hooking up with people who really has your best interest in heart and have done it and have years of experience doing it. Man, this has been great. Huh? Go, Mr. Charles. Sorry.
Hey, Mr. Charles, I was going to say real quick, and what I find over the years, again, like you're reading my resume, I was thinking, I've been able to be very successful, multiple company in my business career. But what I find by my experience as I talk to successful entrepreneurs who's also a business owner, you got to put a team together. You need a good banker. You need a good CPA. You need a good bookkeeper. You need a good IT person. You need a good marketing person. Okay. And you need, like I say, if you already have your own legal department, you already have an attorney, that's great. But if you don't, we can help you here with the legal business services that we have. So it really takes a team to be able to have a successful business. And as I get to learn a little about what you do, Mr. Shaw, and you have a team in place. That's why you've been successful with your business over the years. So I want to personally congratulate you for all the success you have out there and helping business owners. And one of the other reasons why people ask me, Mr. Charles, why you are an entrepreneur, why you love helping business owners. I'm just passionate of helping people become successful, helping business owner entrepreneurs become successful. I would like to be able to say, okay, talk to this person. I like to be able to point people in the direction. So over the years, I have so many people who have come back to me and said, Mr. Charles, that connection you made a few years ago, that referral you gave me, it allowed me to be successful. So I'm excited about some of the events you have, some of your podcasts. I know you and your team are very passionate about helping people. So definitely appreciate you having me on today.
Of course. And I wanted to also add on here that we're going to have Mr. Charles on in 2 weeks on our podcast. I believe it. What day is that? It's the 19th. We're going to have him on the November 19th, and he's going to be back. It's going to be a pre-recorded show, but we're going to allow you guys, we're going to release this on the 9th of November. And in our Facebook group, we want you guys to go in there and ask any questions you want with the LLC so that when Mr. Charles is on here for his podcast, because we're going to interview him, we're going to dig deeper into who he is, how he helps, and how he serves the people around him with their entrepreneurial goals and everything else he kind of touches in their business and then in their personal life as well. And we want you guys to have any questions that you have. We're going to have him on there, and he's going to answer them. And so we can get you some answers, and so you can continue to move forward from where you are right now. And that's all we ever really need to be doing in this life. Pick a lane and move forward and find the right team, like Mr. Charles said, to help you move forward, because we weren't meant to do it alone. Nobody ever successful did it alone. Don't believe that, because it's a lie. Oprah got a whole team behind her. You don't hear it, you don't see them, but there's no way, and she'll tell you that. Tyler Perry, anybody, Jeff Bezos, all these people will tell you, if you got to sit down with them, that they couldn't have done it as long. It's just too much to get done. Now they held on to the vision, and from a leader, and it's your vision, you're supposed to hold on to the vision, make sure everybody's going in the right direction. But there's no way you can do it alone. And we want to help you along this journey, because we know how hard it is to build a successful business. So get your questions ready, and we're going to ask him live on air. We're going to take the first 6 questions. Excuse me, Mr.
Absolutely, Mr. Shaw. You're talking about a team, and just in my background, I just had my assistant tell me it's not the 19, Mr. Charles. It's the 18 at 1 o'clock for the event. So it is the 18.
18th. I switched it. Okay.
That's okay. We just talk about having a team in place. So my team is listening and say, hey, let's fix that, right? So again, having a team in place is so important.
That is very important. I love it. I love when that stuff happens in real time. That's cool. It affirms what we're talking about, right? No,
Absolutely.
but thank you guys. Have your questions ready. We're going to have Mr. Charles back. Contact us to help you get your LLC up and running, man. We just gave you 10 reasons, and there's many more to get it going, and we want to help you. So thank you guys. Until next time, Mr. Charles, I can't wait to have you on the interview later on this month, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Mr. Shaw, thank you very much for having me on, and continue success at helping entrepreneurs out there. Thank you. Guys, have a good day. God bless.